Good day everyone, you're welcome once again to my YouTube channel. This is Grace's Creative Concepts, and if you've not subscribed, please subscribe. And I want you to keep on liking my page, sharing my page to your family and friends so that they'll get the best from it. In this tutorial, I'm going to teach you all how to make an Ankara headband. As you can see, this is an Ankara headband. So you can actually do this with your needle and thread, or you can make do of the machine. If you don't have a machine, you can just use needle and thread to do this. I use needle and thread for this tutorial to make this Ankara headband fabrics, and you can see the design is a bow type design. So I want you to watch and stay tuned and learn how to do this DIY so that you can easily DIY this at your convenience. So thank you all for watching. So keep on subscribing to my page and liking. Thank you for those beautiful comments. I want you to keep on watching it. Thank you very much.
So this is the practical aspects. We are making use of our tape rule, our safety pin, needle and thread, and scissors, and also our elastic. Also, we are making use of elastic this time around, and we have there are these two type of elastic, but I'm going to use the bigger one. So these I've already cut out two types of Ankara of the same type. So I'm going to tell you the measurements I used for the longer one. For this long one, I made use of the breadth 5 inches breadth, 5 inches breadth, and for the length 42 inches length. It's on the screen. 5 inches length and 42 inches length, 5 inches breadth, 5 inches breadth and 42 inches length. That's the measurement I used for this long one. You can use any length you want. You can use 50 length or 60 length, because it's going to clog together. It's going to come together. So you would want a longer length. And for this material is for the bow. It's for the bow. I made use of the breadth. I made use of 12 inches, and for the length I made use of 8 inches. 12 inches breadth and 8 inches length. For this bow, I made use of bow for it. So that's it. I'm still measuring it. So that is it. 12 inches breadth and the length 8 inches length. So the first thing we are going to do during the practice after that is that we are also going to measure our elastic. Also, we're also going to measure our elastic. You can use either the small one or the big elastic. So while measuring the elastic, you measure the head of the person. You measure the head of the person round. The head of the person round. So I'm going to use 22. Yours can be 20 or 19 or 23 depending on the shape. So I'm going to use 22. And while measuring it, when you place the tape rule on the elastic, you draw the elastic. You have to pull the elastic while measuring it, because if you just measure it like that and if you just measure it like that and cut it, the elastic won't be firm on the head. So, and you would want your hairband to be firm on your head. So you have to measure. While measuring the elastic, you pull the elastic while measuring it. Take note of that, please. Then after doing that, you can cut out the elastic. So I've cut that out, and that is it. So trying to check it to be sure. So the ones you're not using, you set that aside. So now the next thing to do is to take our material, the long one, the long material. You fold it into two. You're going to fold the back into two because you're going to turn up, so that when you turn up, it will be the front that will be at the front side. So we are going to fold the material into two. You fold the back into two. We fold the back into two, then we start sewing. If you have your needle, if you have your machine, you can easily use your machine. It's less stressful when using your machine. You just sew it once. But when you use your needle and thread, it's kind of stressful. But for those that don't have machine readily available, you can easily do this DIY with your needle and thread. And when sewing it, you don't let it clog together. You don't let it clog together. You make it straight. If it's clogging together, use your hand to expand it so that it will be straight. So that is it. I'm sewing it. So you straighten it out. You straighten it out very well. You straighten it out very well. You can take it bit by bit. You can take it 5 at a time. 5 at a time and straighten it. 5 at a time and straighten it. Whenever the thread is exhausted, you can cut it out and make sure you tie the two edges together of the thread. Don't just cut it out and leave it like that, because it might lose. You tie the two edges, then you can fix it and continue sewing. And continue sewing it. When you're getting to the edge part, you can sew it very well there. Then when you are using needle and thread, you have to sew it twice. What I'm doing now, I'm sewing it again. I've sewn it once, and I'm sewing it again, because I'm making use of needle and thread so that it won't lose and it will be tighter and to be tight. But when you are making use of machine, you can just sew it only once. You can sew it just once. So after sewing it, the next thing we are going to do is to turn up. We are going to, because this is the back, we are going to turn it to the front, so all the sewing will be inside. So we are going to turn up after sewing this. So after this, you turn up. So I'm turning it. While making yours, the breadth I use 5 inches breadth. You can make use of a wider breadth, so that when you are turning it up, it won't give you difficulties. Or you can either use 5 inches, but don't use lesser than 5 inches, so that when you are turning it, it won't give you stress or difficulties. So I'm turning it up. You turn up everything well. After turning it up, I've done that already. I've turned everything up already. If your iron is close to you, you can iron it out so that it will be smooth. Then the next thing to do is to connect your safety pin to the elastic. You are going to connect your safety pin to the elastic. You open it, and when you fixing the elastic to the safety pin, you close it back. As I've done, you close it back. If you don't close it back, when you are fixing it into the clothes, it might puncture you and it might not really go well. So you close it. When you've closed it, you can fix it inside your clothes. Then use your left hand to support it. Use your left hand to drag the needle. You drag the needle forward. What I'm doing here, I've what I'm doing here, so as, because the elastic is shorter than the cloth, so as not to allow the elastic to go alongside with what I'm doing, I tacked it to the edge. I tacked the other end of the elastic to the edge. So I tacked the other end of the elastic to the edge so that it will not come out. So that is it. After you've drawn everything out, you can connect the two edges of the elastic together. You just watch it. If you've tried it once and you don't get it, you watch again and watch again and watch again till you've till you are acquainted with it. So after joining the two edges of the elastic together, you sew it. You sew it like the way I'm sewing it now. You sew it. After you've sewn it together, you arrange the clothes. You bring it all together. Because when you bring it together, that is when the beauty will come out. You bring everything together, then you can tack the two Ankara, the edges of the two Ankara. You can tack it together now. So that's what I'm doing. I'm tacking it together. And after this step, the next step to do is to put our design. The design I want there, I want a bow type of design. You can pick the design you want. You can make you do a flower. If you want flower, I did a preview. You can watch the previous video I uploaded about creating a flower, so you can do that flower. But this DIY I'm going to do a bow. So this is the bow. You fold it into two. You are going to fold the back into two, then you sew the edges that are cut. You sew all the parts that are cut. So you sew everything, because we are going to turn it out like the way we did at the first one. But the first one, it was not all the sides we sewed, just straight. But for this one, we will sew all the side. If you have your machine, you can easily do this DIY with your machine to avoid stress. So I've sewn it round. I'm trying to turn it over, but why turning it over? Because I sewed it just once. I discovered that there were some places that were coming out. So I had to turn it back and sew it again. So when using your needle and thread, you sew it twice. So I had to turn it back and sew it again. While sewing it, you leave a space before you get to the ending. You leave a space so as to cover up, so as to turn it out.
Why this laugh again?
So I'm sewing it again. So after you've sewn it again, you can turn it out. You can turn out the front. So I'm turning it out. I'm turning it out. After you've turned it out, the space that I used to turn it out, you sew it so that it will cover up the space. To cover up the space that that you've used to turn it out. So after you've sewn the edges, the next thing to do is to form your bow. The next thing to do is to form the bow. While cutting this, for the bow, you cut it in a square form. Don't cut it in a round form. Cut it in a square form. So this is it. To form your bow, you just pick the middle. You pick the middle. You picked all the middle together. So this is the bow. You pick the middle together. So this is it. After I've done this, you attach it to your clothes. I'm going to use a black cloth to cover it, but you can as well leave it like that. But to beautify it more, I'll use a black cloth to cover it. That's to bring out the beauty very well. I'm using a black cloth to cover it. Then you sew it. So after you've sewn it, you can tack the mouth, tie it together, and our DIY hairband is getting ready. So this is it. This is it, our hairband, elastic Ankara headband. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for watching. Please do this DIY at your convenience. You can keep on subscribing, share to your family and friends so that they will also be able to do this. Thank you very much.
Yes, so how was the tutorial? Hope it was lovely. Hope you understood everything. Hope you got everything, and by now I believe you can do it by yourself. So I want you to try it at home with if there's any fabrics you want to use, try it at home. This is an elastic hairband, Ankara style with band, so you can do this at your convenience at home. And I want you to keep on sharing my page, sharing my videos. I want you to keep on liking, subscribing, and I want you to comment. Please comment now. What is it? Hey Joe, comment so that I will know you are watching, so that I will know you really understand what I'm doing. So thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you for liking my page. Keep on subscribing, keep on sharing to your family and friends. Thank you very much, and I would love to see your beautiful comments. So thank you once again. Bye. Have a lovely day.